Then I record this. Okay. So we are here. I remember how we talk about the incremental, the two, the redesigning routes. The one of incremental is by improving your functions, your existing functions, which are normally far from being ideal, being correct, being what is desirable for them. So this is one. And regarding the radical, we say our functional map of our system, sorry, is a quantitative map of value. We will see, we'll learn how to value, to put value into the different functions. By changing or modifying our system, we get independent of our preconceived ideas. So we get rid of our psychological inertia, and we open our mind to radical ideas about redesigning, helping us to arrive to new stages. Here I put trimming, but it's not only trimming. We will see later. Okay. So the point is, how can a person think that putting a new compressor before a turbine will work? Because nobody, compressors were known, turbines were known, everything. Putting this together was, the more you specialize, the more you of the existing systems and the existing way of operation. So you need something systematic to be able to go out of your ideas, your knowledge, your psychological inertia, and open mind to different redesign. We will see an example to give you an idea of this. Okay, let's incremental improvement. We may say goals of incremental improvement. I remember, if we don't want or we cannot, because we arrive this year, we are new in our company and we are not allowed to change things. We need to build on our current system. Okay, so we are not able, or we don't want, or we cannot change our current system. But we can still improve it by increasing the value of the system, by correcting the current problems, harmful or not ideal functions, by improving insufficient functions, reducing excessive functions. Maybe it's not insufficient, but it's excessive. We cannot control it as we want, and it provides more power than we would like. We would like to control better the power, for instance, reducing excessive functions or mitigating harmful ones. We improve the overall value of our current system. Okay. So let's move ahead. This is the example that we saw, the ampoule. This is let's look to our system ampoule closing. The ampoules come open, and with a flame, we try to close to make the closure of the upper part of the ampoule. Here is a photo that I added to see how it's just melt here. Okay, it's melt and it's closed. Okay, so the system works like this. Okay, and how we can make a very simple map of our system. We have here a burning a functional model. We have here the burner generates a flame, and the flame welds the ampoule, but at the same time it provides a harmful function. It heats the ampoule, and the ampoule contains the medicine, but the ampoule also heat the medicine. The holder hold the ampoule, and the air is cooling the ampule. Okay, so but if the ampule hits the medicine is because the air doesn't cool enough the ampule. If we improve this function, how can we describe these problems? We can describe in many ways, but I propose you here some ways of formulating the problems here. So here, let's look to our system. We can identify several functions which are causing problems. We have the flame hits the ampule. Okay, this is a harmful function. The air cool the ampule is a useful function, but insufficient in its performance. And then the ampule heat medicine. It's a harmful function. Okay, so we have these three, and we have a listed. We can make I propose you to make a small table of the insufficient, excessive, harmful functions that are underscoring the value of your system. Okay, so let's go ahead. One way of ampule heat medicine. How can we describe this one? How to eliminate the function heat medicine. This is a harmful, and we want to disturb this. Better than reduce, it's better to stop this. How to stop heating, how to eliminate this function. So this ampule is changing the temperature parameter of the medicine. How can I stop this change? How can I eliminate this changing? Okay, and we can see ways of stopping this. Okay. Okay, so another problem is problem formulation, ampule medicine. Let's see the problem about cool air ampule. We can say the air is cooling ampule, but it is insufficient. So how to intensify the function cool the ampule? So we want to increase this one, maybe a convection air, a forced air, maybe increase this one. Okay, so it could be, well, that we when we put this one, we realize ways of doing this. So this is because this is pretty simple. Maybe we cannot see so simple how to stop that the heat, the hot ampule doesn't heat the medicine. Maybe our ampule is covered by a plastic, maybe a plastic. Before we put the medicine inside, we can make our ampules of glass, but recovered by a non-conducting plastic film, a non-conducting film. Okay, so a film is inside the ampule, and it's inert to the medicine, but it reduces a lot or eliminates this heating of the medicine. So we can, once we describe this way our functions, we are able to think about possibilities. Okay, and this is how to intensify the function cool. And well, this is our the same with the third one, which was ampule heat medicine. How the flame heat the ampule. How to solve to weld this one, but not by heating. That could be change our flame and put different way of melting or closing the ampule. Okay. So this is how we can better describe the tasks that we are doing. And remember that we can describe in parameter or in a graph how it is performing and what is desirable to perform. Okay, So this is the way we go. So okay, this is about incremental improvements, the one that companies prefer. But let's think as a contrarian. Let's think the radical way. Let's be contrarians. Contrarians mean people that think differently and that want to change things. Okay, maybe you need to go to start your company outside the but provide the knowledge. I will learn. I would learn deeply the knowledge of an industry before I start my own company and put into practice the radical way of thinking, because you will have all the knowledge needed for that. Okay, maybe you can have people from experts from this industry inside your new company. That why not? Okay, that's another way. Okay, so two way of redesigning roads for radical innovation. Okay, the radical, we say we try to increase the value of my system, or I want to change, modify my system. Okay, so let's value can be increased in many ways. Okay, maybe this is a reminder also. Remember, value is the ratio between functionality and cost. Okay, so we can reduce cost, we can increase the number of functions. Okay, we can improve a parameter associated to a function, so it's an incremental. We improve how we cool, we reduce the temperature of our ampule. We improve the parameter, the temperature of the ampule is colder because we produce a forced air, for instance. Okay, so this is a not it's, but we are increasing the value. We increase functionality and reduce cost at the same time, or we reduce much more functionality than cost, or we reduce cost much more than reduce some functionality, but we reduce much more the cost. This is especially for the radical way, because sometimes we can reduce some functionality, but we reduce a lot of costs. Let's go ahead. Okay, so we start with objectives of radical improvement, the way of adding functionality. Okay, so we want to add functionality. So we can look at our system in a holistic way as a value topology. We want to preserve existing functions, but we can consider adding some new functionality, either existing in other systems. So we can go outside our industry and try to look for functionalities that are interesting and could add this functionality, new functionality to my industry, and put it into my system. Okay, my system has a new functionality, or I add a totally new function because I use a new effect, or I recall an effect that was not used in my industry, and this effect can bring new functionalities or changing some of the existing functions. Let's see examples of these two. Let's see some examples. Maybe we add a new function, but by adding this new function, we generate a new service that may change radically our system. This may generate a new system or improve a big leap in our existing system, an invention that delivers a new functionality. We will see the difference between the two radical improvements. So this is an invention that delivers a new functionality. Okay. for example, when I say a new effect, depending on a new effect, let's see this how it works. Do you remember the classic water windmill, or the classic milling of wheat to make flour? It's something like this. It works by the wind just moving, pressing into the blades and moving in some angle. So the pressure of the of the of the wind is just rotating, because they have some degree of inclination. Okay, so this is how it works classically. But if I put this one, a General Electric 12 megawatt wind turbine, how does it work? It doesn't work the same way. They use a new effect. They use the Bernoulli effect, the effect of the planes. So the wind passes through a parallel blade, and the blade has the shape as a plane wing. So it puts a lot of low pressure at one side and high pressure on another, at the opposite side. So it has a lot of power to move into the to elevate. In this case, is to rotate. So it rotates. Okay, and how it knows what is the best position for have the most lift power in each blade. So you can imagine moving these three blades need a lot of lift power. But this is the lift power is what is able to for the takeoff of a Airbus 380. So it can move tons and tons of weight. So in this case, they are moving tons. That this can have 60 meters long, can be 60 meters. Or more. So it weighs. It has a lot of resistance, but the lift power is so high that it moves. Multiplied by 3, it moves this. When it's moving and the wind is passing, the 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 relative position of the blade need to change, because you are moving, and the speed, the direction of the wind, the relative direction of the wind is changing. It's like when you go under the rain, and you just go ahead and you see the rain coming, because you are advancing. So the relative movement is the the drops of the rain are going against your windshield. So it's the same. So they should change the angle of the blades, and this is called the pitch angle. The jaw angle is moving into the right, opposite to the direction. So it moves like this. So it can turn and put the blades looking to us on, or moving the blades opposite to us. But at the same time, the blades should turn in an axe that is going longitudinal to the blade, because it should adapt to the speed of the wind turbine, and should adapt to the speed to the wind. So a controller is controlling the perfect angle to have the maximum lift to provide the maximum power to produce the maximum electricity here. Okay, so it works. It's a mill, okay, but it works on a different effect. This is the pressure, and here is the Bernoulli effect, the effect of the planes. So they translated this effect into this new wind turbines. Okay, so it's a new functionality because they apply a new effect. Okay, we can see more. There are more examples. We are not going to see today, but maybe next week. Okay, so let's move on. And remember, this is how we can. We have here the case for a cat litter. Okay, and how this was the existing patent. Okay, and the existing patent, the cat litter, which was composed of the sepiolite, sorry, contained this molecular complex. This was the patent, and this molecular complex degrade the mercaptan, which is the agent that smells so bad and disturb persons. So the cat produce urine, and in this urine produce water, ammonia and urea and felinine, this hormone, and the bacteria eat this hormone and produce these gases that are very bad, of a very bad smell. So they disturb persons. So this is what the system, the existing system of the competitors. Okay, so why, how can they try to improve this? Maybe they can add a new functionality. Maybe they can degrade the felinine, and they remove this degrade and propose a different strategy. So this different strategy means that you can patent it, because you have not called it molecular complex, but any substance that can bind to the felinine and stop this harmful function. So you make maybe you put an enzyme that makes the felinine not good for the bacteria. The bacteria doesn't like the felinine with this enzyme, and logically they don't produce this bad smell. So adding just a new functionality brings and removing this one brings a totally new solution that can be patented. Okay, this is what, or maybe another two or different attacking the bacteria. So you can you are playing a different strategy, a totally different strategy, a different substance. So you have a totally new patent for you. Okay, and this can you are making a radical change because you can patent it. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead. And you are changing the knowledge of your industry, because your industry was behind this bad smells, and you are providing a new components, a new biological components that are probably altering this one. So it's a new knowledge for these very simple companies. Okay, this is one. And remember the toothbrush. We will go deeper into this toothbrush. We had the handle of the toothbrush, the neck, okay, the head, and the bristles. And the bristles wanted to remove the plaque of our teeth. They don't clean the teeth, but remove the plaque. However, we say that it doesn't remove it sufficiently. Okay, this is an insufficient. It's useful, but it's insufficient. Okay, so we see that here. Excuse me. Let me because I know this is different. Let me put. I will change something. Let me okay, and then I move this. Okay. Okay. Let me go ahead and go again to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Let me show this. Okay. So you see my screen, and this is let us remember this one. We say that the bristles remove insufficiently the plaque. The plaque is attached to the enamel, and the teeth hold the plaque, the enamel, and the enamel, because it's part of the teeth. We could differentiate or not. We could remove this enamel and talk about the teeth. It's the same, but I wanted to differentiate because you are really attacking the plaque is attacking the enamel, and once it attacks the enamel, it attacks also the teeth. But okay, that's right. So the plaque also attack the gum, and the gum attack hold the teeth, and we have also the toothpaste. The bristles help to spread the toothpaste, and it does well or not. That depends on how each user could sorry, could move the toothpaste, and the toothpaste help to neutralize the plaque, help to dissolve, and sometimes we can add a third function is not added here, but we can add a third function, which is the toothpaste also mineralize the enamel. Some toothpaste claim that they can give calcium and minerals to your enamel, so they mineralize, okay, the enamel. We should add a new useful function here, okay. Okay, but remember, we can, by adding functionality or removing functionality out of our system, we can bring a totally change in the industry. I talk about is why the plaque attack enamel. We can how to avoid, how to eliminate the attack of the, or how to eliminate, excuse me, better than this is, let me move this, is better, this one. Okay, okay, this is what is one. Okay, so the animal hold the plaque. Why, how to eliminate this holding of the plaque? Maybe our animal is has a, again has is coated by a film. The specialist give you a film that makes doesn't hold the plaque, so the plaque slides on this film, and so your animal is protected, because plaque cannot hold and is not able to build into your animal, and so cannot attack, because it has no time to attack the animal. And remember, this would change the entire industry of the toothpaste, of the bristles, of the dentist, etc. So it's because it is outside of our current systems. Nobody of the existing systems want to invent something like this. Okay, something to fix this problem. But we are able to think about each of the functionalities. We can change and improve this, the killing of the plaque, the neutralization, the solution, the remotion, etc. We can improve any of the functions, and we can analyze also the existing functionalities that are outside my system in order to understand better what is occurring, and maybe I could provide new solutions to this. And these solutions are a game changer of all the industries, of the existing industries. So analyzing functionality, adding new functionality, removing some functionality can be really radical innovation. Okay, so this is about adding or removing some functionalities. Okay, let's go regarding other radical improvement. The other way is we see the adding functionality, and this is about trimming, pruning or trimming. So we say that we can observe our system holistically as value topology, preserving the main function. We can consider eliminating those components that provide the lowest value functions in our system, reassigning its useful functions to other components of our system. Okay, remember, we can reassign the useful functions of existing components to other components of my system, or by removing the less valuable components and redistributing their useful functions, we generate a new scenario of a new system. This is an invention that performs the same main functions as the current system, but with higher value. For instance, have you ever thought how phones can be smaller and thinner, well, not smaller, bigger screens, but thinner, with faster computers, faster measurements, etc. For instance, in the past, the accelerometers, phones need 3 different accelerometers. One accelerometer for the X axis, one accelerometer for the Y axis, and one accelerometer for the Z axis. So it can your phone can understand if you are moving into one direction or another, or you are heading one direction or another, because it has three accelerometers. So the next value was to eliminate 2 of the 3 accelerometers by producing a 3-dimensional accelerometer. So they removed 2 and put just 1. And this is just an example that components are removing elements and getting more functionality each component to be able to put this more and more value in your phones, as an example of an electronic device, but can be also in shoes. For instance, I can talk you about, for instance, some shoes, for instance, had added a lining, internal lining of this I can't remember the name now, but this cloth that allows you to sweat but cannot enter the humidity from outside. Okay, so this lining is added. This functionality is added to the shoe, and so the shoe is registered as a patent, and one patent has this functionality and other hasn't this one. Okay, or you can also remind the famous brand, the Italian brand, with this functionality as well. Okay, the geox, okay, this and are patented because it's a new functionality in the same. Okay, you change some component and you add new functionality that before was not. So this way of eliminating components but keeping the value of this of their functionalities is a way to improve big improvements, moreover than just incremental improvements. Okay, reassigning the useful functions to other components of my system. An invention that performs the same main functions as the group, but with higher value. Sometimes even I can make a different main function, but in this case, add some new main functions. Okay, add some new main functions. Let's go into our example. Remember our toothbrush again, and we are going to make a big change right now. Okay, so I put it into a PowerPoint file to show you that we can do it with the different strategies that we have to change to trim a system is by redistributing the useful functions. For instance, I can remove the handle of my toothbrush is if the handle hold the neck, if this function is played by another component, okay, and is performed by another component, okay. Maybe the function is held by itself. So the handle, I remove the handle because this function is made by the neck itself. The neck is holding itself. Okay. Or there is no component. I remove also the component neck, or I remove just the action hold. This is the different strategies that I can bring. So this is the function hold the neck. The neck holds itself. Okay, and finally I can trim then because the handle has no functionality. I can trim it. I can remove it. The function that it provided now is performed by the same neck by itself. So in this case, I can remove this handle. Okay. So, but the handle received an action from the hand. The hand was holding the handle. Maybe I can trim the action hold, or maybe I apply this action to the bristles. Okay, so the hand doesn't take the handle anymore, but the hand just take the bristles, hold the bristles directly. The hand hold the bristles. This is a scenario that I want to increase. This is reassigning the function, eliminating the component, eliminating the function, reassigning the function. Do not change the function. Okay, this is for you as a guide to when you see the recording class, you can see this and have this as a resource for you. Okay, so let's move and go ahead to our. This is a PowerPoint made system. So the hand hold the handle hold the neck hold the head hold the bristles, and the bristles remove the plaque insufficiently, distribute the toothpaste insufficiently, and somehow remove the bacteria of the tongue, okay, insufficiently as well. Okay, some toothbrush claim that they can also clean your tongue because they remove some bacteria some of the plaque in your tongue, and so remove bacteria. Okay, so the bristles remove, but also insufficiently. Okay, insufficiently. So let's see how we can make value. So we have 6 functions. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 4 components: handle, neck, head, and bristles. Okay. So if we make our ratio, we have 6 functions, 4 components, but the cost of each component. Okay, this is about, and we need to improve the functionality. Okay, of this. If we are also manufacturer or distributor of the toothpaste, this would be also a component, and this function would be relevant for us. The toothbrush helps to dissolve the plaque. Okay, so let's move ahead. So what happens if I try to remove the handle? Who is holding the neck? Who is going to hold the neck? And who is going to hold the who is going to be held by the hand? So this is I put the hand will hold the bristles. I move this functionality to the bristles and just remove this functionality. Okay, nobody is taking this holding neck, so I remove this. Okay, so number of functions are only 5. I have 1 functionality, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is not my functionality. This is functionality of the hand. The hand is not part of my toothbrush. I'm not manufacturer of the hand. I'm not responsible. I have no cost for this hand. So this hand is not part of my system. But I translated the functionality of the hand to the bristles to complete my reasoning scenario. Okay, so this I just remove I remove this function, and therefore the number of functions is reduced by 1. Okay, here we have six functions. Okay, 6 functions. Here we have just 5. Okay, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. 5 functionalities and 3 components. Okay, let's move ahead. Then we can move the neck and move and remove also the function hold, just the head and the bristles. Okay, so I remove this one. I remove the neck, and also I don't need to redistribute, in this case, in my scenario, don't need to redistribute this useful function. But see, the number of functionality is being reduced. This is take care. It's a cautious scenario, because I'm reducing the component, but I'm also reducing the functionality. And what they were useful functions. Okay, but maybe these functions are not needed anymore, and that's why I'm in this scenario. I'm just removing this functionality. Okay, so number of components after this is components would be 2 in this case. Excuse me, I'm going to put here 2. Okay, 2, this, right? Okay, it's 2, and number of functions is 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I just 2 components. I reduce a lot my cost, but I also reduce the functionalities. Okay, and once I remove also the head and the hold of the bristles, so the number of functions is only three. Okay, and the number of components is just one, bristles. Okay, so what is this? What kind of excuse me, one, just make it okay. What type of toothbrush is this? Just bristles, and my hand just hold the bristles and no head holding the bristles. So the bristles can, how can the bristle be held in a place if there's no head? Okay, so so components is just one, the bristles, and functions are just three. So what is the next movement? So maybe we don't need the bristles. The tool, the bristles are the tool. So changing the tool means a very radical movement. Remember, the tool is the thing that doesn't change or change less. I haven't explained this, but if you remember, I don't remember if I explained you the launch of the stone. Then yes, I mean for instance, in the car, everything can change, but the tool doesn't change. The tool changes very little. So a totally different way it can be changed like this. A totally different, a totally radical new invention. So I remove the bristles as well. And who is going to remove, distribute, and remove the bacteria? Okay, so a new component. A new component doesn't distribute the toothbrush. I remove the toothpaste, sorry. The new component won't redistribute the toothbrush, the toothpaste. The saliva won't dissolve the toothpaste, because I don't need, I'm eliminating the toothpaste as well. The new component will remove the plaque and will try to remove the bacteria, but loses this functionality of distributing the toothpaste, because there is no toothpaste in my scenario and no dissolution. So what a new component can remove the plaque and can, or lessen the plaque and lessen the bacteria, remove the bacteria, as the bristles did. And I show you. This is, you may laugh, but this one, what is the function of this? Is to remove the plaque. Trident extra care. It has different elements also to mineralize the teeth. For instance, it has Recaldent. It's a calcium provider that mineralizes your teeth. At the same time, it brings a basic releases a basic increases the pH of your saliva, and then the plaque has very difficult to build in your enamel. Okay, this is an example, but just an example. This is contains calcium, or keep your teeth strong. Okay, extra care, fresh mint and peppermint and spearmint. Okay, peppermint and spearmint. Okay, so the point is that these people is thinking about this industry, and is trying to add more functionality to their system to replace all this industry. Okay, so more and more people has no time to 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 clean to brush their teeth, and they chew different chewing gums to keep their or sometimes eat fruit, and sometimes have this to keep the saliva, producing saliva, to stop the buildup of bacteria, and to clean somehow the teeth. Of course, it doesn't replace everything, but helps to use less toothpaste, and to keep your toothbrush using less. It doesn't wear it doesn't wear. Let me go ahead. Let me go back. Okay, sorry. It doesn't. We had to put here a bad functionality is wearing. The bristles are wearing the enamel. If you I explain, if you brush your teeth uh, uh, immediately after a lunch, your pH is so acid that your bristles is are really wearing your enamel. If you wait some time, then you will be less aggressive to your enamel. So this is how these things work. So the point here is how you should uh, 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 how you should mm, 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 make a radical innovation in your system. I mean, you each of three of you have a technology to analyze the patents, the patent landscape, the complementary resources, and the dominant design. And you two groups so far have sent me the 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 functional map of their technology. So I expect other groups to either upload it, or better to send me by email. Okay, and in this case, a new task that you should comply is for the next week, is that you should be able to trim two components of your system. Make a scenario of trimming two components of your system, so that so that you are able to bring a radical new system. Of course, you need to know what components to remove, and you need to know how this affect to the functionality of the system. At least, I mean, two components. One component is okay, but two components is what I would like you to make. Remove two components. Okay. So this is how we say. So radical improvement, radical innovation. We say the key consequences of trimming. Remember, we explained two: adding new functionalities, and trimming. So the key consequences of trimming, we say, when we decide to use trimming, we are in effect changing the problems to work, because we don't have more problems here of the new won't wear enamel, the won't distribute toothbrush, toothpaste, etc. So we change the problems to work. Okay, and user problem solving is penalized by psychological inertia. we don't consider alternative configurations because we are prisoners of our fixed idea about what is possible with our current system. When we change our system, we open our mind to radical ideas about redesigning, helping us to arrive to new stages. By doing trimming in a system that has been modeled according to established criteria, we open new perspectives to consider that otherwise would be overlooked. Okay, so the point here is that is a systematic way by analyzing. You don't need to be a lot of creative or making it in a separate, but you can do it systematically, analyze functionalities and systematically remove some of the components and redistribute this functionality, or adding a new component that can play a functionality in your system. Your system won't be the same, and this has consequences. Let me this has consequences for the patenting. I mean, if you have let's think a phone and add a new functionality, or have a shoe and add new functionality, or have a jacket and add new functionality, you may patent it, but you still need to, you cannot prevent others to making jackets or making phones or making whatever. Is imagine that you patent let think back to the light bulb, okay, to the light bulb, to the classical light bulb. Imagine that you invented a new wire, a new wire that lasts longer than the wolframium wire, and has new light, brighter light, and less, and consumes less. Okay, you can patent it. You can patent the new light bulb with the new wire. But when you make your patent, you should describe, I'm claiming a light incandescent bulb comprising a new wire. So what you are really patenting is just the new wire. You cannot take all these elements, because you are using the existing system and adding a new functionality. You can take a patent, but you are just able to save your new functionality, not any part. However, when you trim a system, you are able to patent everything, because you are in a new system. Okay, your system is a light bulb, which is not a light bulb. It's a different thing, because it lacks the wire. So how it produces light? It doesn't produce light because it's in a void, because it's totally different. So your system is a new system, and you can patent the whole new system. So the two routes are for radical innovation. However, you may patent more in the case of trimming, because you are dealing with a new system. In the case of adding functionality, is a new functionality, but you are still with the old system. So your patent will be less broad. Okay, that is the reflection or the discussion about these two routes of radical thinking. Okay, You may the point is that this is the two patenting strategies and the two scopes in patenting. You know, as we saw, that innovation is much more than just patenting. So sometimes just a new functionality brings a new innovation, an innovation that has a lot of market and a lot of user, etc. And a new system is as you have seen, is difficult to convince people to use the new system. So maybe for innovation is different, okay? But for patenting, you can patent, you can defend a much more broader scope if you trim, that is, you add new functionalities. Okay, this is, let's go ahead, some practical rules for trimming. This I give you in this case. Trim or prune first along value lines. We'll see. Remove problematic or expensive components first. So if you add cost of the components, you may see what components are really worth start to remove. Okay, this is about, or what components are producing more vibration or more heat or whatever, and let's try to remove it. Or maybe it's not coordinated to other components and it's introducing a noise, an electric noise into my electronic device, and maybe this is the component to try to be removed first. Okay, in your exercise, you should add the cost of the components if you can, okay, and try to understand why you are following one strategy or another about removing two components of your system. Allow some freedom to explore different options. You can follow one route or another route once you remove, okay? You can go on or just you stop after two elimination, okay? And keep in mind that we should ask always how to redistribute or eliminate the useful functions of the system, okay? We should always take into account what to do with the functions. Remember, the most relevant part of my system are the useful functions that you are providing, because the components can change. And when we have more knowledge, we change our components. But the functions are what my system needs. So keep in mind that you should think always how to redistribute or just eliminate the useful functions of the system. But take this into account and take account about how many functions you have in your system and how are you eliminating. Finally, we need to count earned or lost functions and components. This is what we said in our system. Okay, let's see how can we rank our functional to have a value map. Okay, so I will describe here 8 functions, 8 rules to add functionality to your to add measurement to your functional measurement. The other measurement is the cost of each component. You should add the cost and the functionality ranking. Okay, this is about functionality ranking. Let's see. This is, imagine that we have a component, a system that has 5 components: component 1, component 2, component 3, and component 4, and component 5. Okay, and this component 1 is the tool of my system. Okay, sorry, is the tool of my system, and it just brings the functionality, basic functionality to my client, okay? But some of the components need to deal some functionality to the super system. If it's the case that the super system is adding functionality to me, I don't take care. For instance, when the handle, when the hand holds the handle, is a functionality of the super system, so I don't take care of it. I take care of the functions of my system. And this case, in this example, is my system that is providing some functionality to the surroundings, to the supersystem element. Okay, so rule ones, if the component acts directly on the product, is the tool of the system, then the rank of the action is B, basic. Okay, in this rule, the rule number one. Okay, rule number two, it says the component behind the tool, of the element that is provided, the B, is the auxiliary number one. So this functionality is auxiliary functionality number one. So the rule is if the component acts on a component that performs A1, then this is performing over a component that performs A1, so it is A2. Okay. Rule 4, if the component acts on a supersystem, always the rank of its action is auxiliary 1. It's like this. Okay, so this is A1. So my component provides an action 1 here, but here as it is behind a component that is already providing an action 1, then is an action 2. This component as is providing an action over a component that is providing an action 1 is an action 2. And this component as it is providing an action behind the action 1 on a component that is performing the action 1, then is A2 as well. So this is the value of my actions here. B, A1, A2, these three are A2, and this is a supersystem element is A1, okay? These 4 rules, okay? Component, the tool is B, the second after the tool is A1, and the third after the second is A2 or A3, etc. Okay. Let's see 3 more rules. The action with the lowest rank means the A, in this case, A2 is the lowest rank, A1 is more than A2, and B is more than A1. The action with the lowest rank is equal to 1. So A2 is equal to value 1. We give 1 to the lowest component. Okay, value 1. The actions of the component is 1. Okay, so this the rank of the component before my component is the rank of this plus 1. So this is A2 is 1, so A1 is 2. The rank of B is the rank of A1 plus 2. Okay, so A1 is 2 plus 2 is 4. So this is the value. You see, my components have different value because they perform less functionality of less value than the tool. Okay, so I can have a flavor, I can have a view of the value of the functionality value of my components. Okay, so this is an important component because it provides the functionality is of value 2, but all these components is providing just functionality of value 1 and functionality of value 1. This component is providing one functionality of value 1 and one functionality of value 2. Okay, so the eighth rule is the rank of a component is the sum of rank for the functionalities performed by this component. So in my hypothetical system, the tool has a functionality of 4. Component 1 rank is 4. Component 2 has one functionality of value 2, one functionality of value 1, and that's it. So 2 plus 1, it's equal to 3. Okay. Component 3 just provide one function of value 2. So component 3 value is 2. Component 5 just provides one functionality of 1. Here is component 1, functionality of 1. The same for component 4, just one functionality of value 1. So we have a functionality ranking of our system. Remember, we start by giving functionality 1 to the first and go adding more functionality the more we are closer to the tool of my system. And finally, we add 2 to the value to this one plus 2 is the value of the because remember, my product, my client only sees this functionality. The product doesn't care of how much components I need to provide this functionality. Okay. Even the client sometimes wants less complicated systems to provide the functionality they need. Okay. So this is how we can rank our system. Okay. So how would you add functionality value to this example? I give you 5 minutes time to make a photo of this and add functionality to make your own idea of what is the functionality of the bristles, what functionality of the head, what is functionality of the neck and the handle. These are the 4 components of my system. So what is the functionality value of each component? And make a small list like this, okay? A small rank like this. And I give you 5 minutes, and you may upload it to the your poly format. Okay. So I take as an attendance of this session. So please make this rank for this. We have in our example we have 5 components, but here we have only 4. Remember the rules. I go back. Rule number 1 is this is the B. Start by adding the letters A1, then A2, and A2, and if there were more components here, they would be A3. Okay, but here is A1, A2 because it's behind A1, and this one is because it's behind this one, and this one is because it's behind this one. So all this that provides is A2. If there were component 6, it would be A3. So A3 would be 1, A2 would be 2, and this would be 3, and this would be 5. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, rule 1 and rule 5 is the lowest has value of 1, the next has value of 2, and the final has a value of 4. Okay, and this is the sum of all the functionalities is the value of a component. So take into account that the bristle have three functions, okay? The handle plays one functionality, the neck one functionality, the bristles, the head one functionality, and the bristles three functions, okay?
Can you explain again how it works with the numbers?
Yes, let's go back. We start by putting what is the B, okay? So the one that goes to the product. Okay, this is rule one. And rule four is any supersystem element, in any action that is made by my component, my system to any supersystem element is A1. Okay, so these are the basic rules. The rule number one and the rule number four. The rule number two is that this one, the components that are behind the tool of my system is A1. This is also a basic rule. The rule three is more complicated because what it says is the farther I'm moving from the component from the tool of my system, the number is increasing, A3, A4, etc. And in the end, I have to put number one for the lowest, for the n. An value is 1, An minus 1 is value is 2, minus 2 is value 3, etc. And I'm progressing until I arrive to the product, to the tool of the system. Okay. And the ranking is the sum of actions. Here they have two, and this is why its value is 3, okay, component 2, because it has two functionality. We have to add all the functionalities that my component plays, okay? So let's try to make this small table for these 4 components.
Only for the handle, the neck, the head, the bristles, and the plug.
Because these are the components of my system. I'm not responsible for toothpaste. This is a good question because, but look, this is why we should put into another shape, another color, whatever, another shape for the super system on my components. Remember, I have remember when we analyzed the super systems. Let me check if I can retake this one. Let me go back and remember what we saw. Okay, this one. Remember this picture. I say my component is my system is a cellular. Okay, my cellular deals with a super system, cellular communication system with networks, antennas, users, operators. Okay, but networks, antenna, users are not part of my cellular. I'm responsible for my cellular and all the components of my cellular and the subcomponents, etc., etc. So these are my system, and these are elements of my system. But all the other are things that I interact with, but I'm not responsible for them. So the same here. Let me go back. Let me go back here. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, and let me go, and then okay, here. Okay, so all these components toothpaste, enamel, gums, tooth, are things that I'm interacting with, but are not part of my toothbrush. I'm just manufacturer of toothbrushes, and toothbrushes should deal with all this, but I cannot change the enamel or the gums or the tooth because it's out of my industry. Otherwise, is if I take this functionality, which is out of my business. My business is toothbrushing, toothbrushes. Okay, I can change the angle of the bristles. I can change the material of the bristles. I can change the disposition of the hard and soft bristles. Whatever. This is what the industry is doing. This is what the better handle, a rubber handle, whatever, rubber neck for orienting better the head and the bristles, whatever you may think, are just improvements of components of my system. These are just incremental improvements. Okay, no, just it was just Adam's chewing gum was another industry, and if I invent something to some coating to cover my enamel, it's just another industry. Okay, it's a very disrupting industry, but it's totally a new industry. I could lend this coating to existing dentists and hold a business with them. This coating can be very expensive, so you earn money because you will this make this treatment for a lot of people. But once you know that you will earn a lot of money, but afterwards you will earn very little money because with this coating, no plaque problems and no tooth decay and nothing at all. Just uh, 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 static treatment of teeth. Okay, but not health treatment of teeth. Okay. So your system is just this four. Okay, so let's see. We have passed 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and let's see this. So this is A3. Okay, because this is A3. This is A2. This is A1, and this is B. Okay, and this is also A1 because it's given to a toothpaste. Okay, and this is excuse me. Let me go ahead. Uh, uh, okay, A1. Okay, so A1 is 3. Okay, because and this is 5. 2 plus 5 because A1 plus 2. Okay, and this is equivalent to A1. So value is because it to the super systems, so that its value A1 3 as well. And this one also is a A1 because it's to the super system, so the value is 3. Okay, so the bristles has a rank of 5 plus 3 plus 3, 11. Okay, and this one has just a value of 3, and this one just a value of 2, and this one just a value of 1. Okay, I don't care because this is a functionality performed by the super system, not by my system. Okay, my system plays this for these 3, 5 functions. Okay, nothing more. Sorry, 6 functions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I can see that the bristles are have a lot of value because they play all the functionalities in my in the mouth. Okay, the rest are elements that I'm using to provide this, to hold these bristles, to control these bristles, to provide better functionality for all these. Okay, so the less I got this, the cheaper I got this, the better my system is. Okay. Okay, this is about what is how can we value map has the value map of my system, and I can adding the cost and the more adding the cost and the functionality, and we can also add the harmful functions. Sorry, the more harmful functions you have, also this is subtracting value to my component. Okay, but you can take this for now and add the cost and the remember the four rules. Okay, the four rules for this. Remove the problematic or expensive component first. This is the point. Remove problematic or expensive components first. So the less value and the more problematic and more cost are the candidates for being removed first. Okay. But I should say sometimes people start by removing directly the tool of the system. So you can, if you have the idea of removing components and redistributing functionality, you have the power to build different scenarios, and very crazy scenarios can bring you a totally new possibility. Of course, you need to add a lot of knowledge behind this scenario, because you need to add what materials you should use, what effects you should use, what quantity you should choose. But you can do also a research project for this new scenario. Okay, so you have the power with this tool. You have the power to think in new possibilities, and then after that build a project for taking bringing this to reality. But this is the first step, is thinking differently, and this tool helps you to systematically think differently. Okay, this is the value of this method for thinking about technologies, whatever the technology be. Okay, this has been applied to electronic components, to ships, to planes, for instance, in the case of Boeing, is using this method for increasing the functionality of their turbines, etc., of the subsystems of the turbines, etc., to increase the safety of the components and the sensors, etc. Okay, so consequences for invention is what I said. If you add new functions, you may have to pay for existing system. This is about an example of adding functionality. This is a ballpoint. Okay, you may see this ballpoint has a tip for clicking on your phone. So you can of course is a ballpoint. You can write with it. You cannot see here, but you can see it has a elastomer tip that is able to activate your phone. Okay, your phone. and also has an element here behind, a plastic element that brings a gap here. And what is this for? I will show you. This is the tip, okay? And this is the functionality it has. So it is just for holding what? New functionality. And this slot here is for holding something. In this case, for holding a mobile phone, okay? So you can see your movie, your video, whatever, and you have your hands free, and you can put your phone here. So this is the functionality, a new functionality of your ball pen, your ball point, your pen ball. Okay, but it's, if you got to patent it, you have to patent a ball pen. Okay, a ball pen is still, you cannot claim any right for the ball pen, but you can at least claim for the new functionality added to your ball pen. Okay, this is what. Okay, but let's see a different one, a new functionality added to another ball pen. I will show you this video. Okay, you may have whatever. Here is just a calendar, a year calendar. On the other hand, we have 2011 and 2012 in the other, at the other side. But you can add here whatever you want. Imagine that you can have an active OLED image here. Just roll it in your ball pen. Okay, so it's a new functionality here. Okay. But let's see what happens if I trim something. Okay. Let's see this. What is this? Normally, ball pens have two springs. One spring here for having here the point and retracting the point, and one another here spring, internal spring, for just having the turning back for releasing the point, the ball pen, or just holding it back. But here in this case, they have removed one spring. They have removed one spring. And what component is performing as a spring? You may imagine. Look. Okay. So this is a totally new pen, because it's not, it's different. It's not a classical pen, but a new pen that has less components. So you can claim much more than in the case of adding a functionality. You have removed a component and have left, in this case, the casing to play the functionality of this spring. Another step could be to remove this one and add also a new functionality to the envelope, to the casing of this one, and should be still even a very new kind of ball pen. Okay, so this is the difference, and this is how we can see adding functionality versus trimming components. Okay. Okay, we will finish here. We will finish here, and I hope you upload your table rank to the polyformat, and the task for you for the next week. Tomorrow we will do an exercise, and I will ask you also to bring some results for the next week. But the task for the next week is by trying to remove two components of your system, and what this system could look like. Not just removing arrows, but what this removal of arrows means, what type of new component you propose with this trimming. This is what I appreciate in your exercise. Okay. Okay, we finish here. Any question?
Yeah, I have a question. Because our group has energy harvesting, and that's not really a product, but more like a process, and it's very big. So
Your
can we
group,
define
what is the technology of your group?
energy harvesting?
Energy harvesting?
So can we choose a random product?
Yes, you can for instance a transceiver or whatever component whatever technology within energy harvesting and make for it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for the question. Any other question? Okay, so we finish here and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for your attendance and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.